Hello, my friend. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Maggie, and this is Batnet Crazy. If you're new here, welcome. If you are joining me again, welcome back. I really am so happy to see you. It's actually been 2 weeks since I talked to you last. I know for you it's only been 1 week, but it's been 2 for me, so I have done a little more knitting than I would ordinarily do. When we spoke last time, I was getting ready to take a trip to the St. Louis area, and I had picked 2 items off of my WIP tree to work on while I was on my trip and throughout the week, and I have made some really good progress. So I want to share that with you, and then I want to get into some of the wonderful things that I found visiting yarn stores on my way to and in the St. Louis area. So let's dive right in. I do have, I'm very proud to say, a finished object to share with you. This little item that had been in this little bag, bag number 5. Let me open up my notebook. I wasn't really quite ready, but this is the Promiscuous Stripes shawl by Killeen Kinnersley. And I started this probably in 2015 or 2016. I'm not really sure which because I didn't write it down and I didn't put it in Ravelry, so shame on me. When we spoke last time, I put in a little marker to show where I was. So this had already been completed down to this marker. And I am proud to say I finished it. Not only did I finish it, I actually sort of over-finished it. I'll explain. So here is the completed Promiscuous Stripes shawl. And on this end, I've even woven in the ends. Go me! On this side, I believe, where did I put it? Oh, is it on this side? It's on this side. So this little marker right here is actually where the pattern ended, but I still had some of each yarn left. And so I went back in to the pattern and found a place where the stripes were doing something a little interesting to use up the rest of my yarn. So I did add about 4 inches to the length of the shawl. And of course that did make it a little bit wider as well. And then I had enough of the black to do my bind off, which I love, having that little black row along the top edge. And I do have actually in the bag what I have left of each of the skeins of yarn. This was Wool of Bat yarn, which is my yarn brand, from a Wizard of Oz collection that I did ages and ages ago. This color, I believe, is Emerald City, and this is how much I have left of it. And then this color, the black, which actually does have little bits of green in it. If you can see the little bit of green in there. There's a little stripe of green. This was called I'm Melting, and this is how much I have left of that one. So I think I did a pretty good job using up every scrap of these 2 yarns, and I now have a finished object, which is fantastic. This is garter stitch. It is really easy to knit. It's super, super easy. All knit stitches, you have an increase on every right side row along one end, and it just makes this lovely triangle. Now, we've talked before about how I am not great at wearing shawls. I think I can figure this one out. I am going to go ahead and take off the markers because I've now shown you where I was and that I got it finished. So we'll take that marker off, and then we will find the little light bulb, and we will take him off as well. All right, so yeah, I'm not great at this. It is kind of a smaller shawl. I'm 5'6", so my wingspan is about 66 inches. And that is that's about where this one is. I know you can't really see, but that's about where my fingertips are. So yeah, so it's about 66. It's not super small. It's not, I would not call it a shawlette. but it is a little bit smaller. But yeah, in the fall, I might be able to do something cute with it. Sorry, as I hold my hair out of the way. I might be able to do something cute with it. I don't know. I will say, having a not super thin upper section, shall we say, it's a little bit, sometimes I feel like wearing a shawl like in a bandana style kind of just adds more weight to the front of me, if you want to say that. So I don't know if that's really the best, necessarily the best way for me to wear this, but certainly when it's super cold and I need to bundle up, this will be nice because it's garter stitch. It's nice and squishy. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to block it because I don't think it needs it. Because it's garter stitch, it just lays flat. I don't really want to stretch it out. I think it's good. I think we're good with this one. So we can check this one off the list. My very first WIP from my WIP tree has now been completed. So that is the goal of doing all of this, is to finish my WIPs. You guys, it is so hot right now. It is so hot. I am in Nebraska, and let me just say, it is blisteringly hot. So I tried to be cute for you. I tried my best, but we're doing a chopstick. We're doing a chopstick because we can't. Okay, so my second WIP of the week, which is actually 2 weeks, keep that in mind, is in this lovely project bag, and it is project number 2. And this one is the Mabel sweater by Hohi Locatelli. It is this one, which I just love. I just love it. And when I started knitting on it again, I was a little bit concerned because I'm doing a size smaller than I might actually have chosen right now to do. I think it will be fine. It does fit me. I can put it on. It looks tiny, but because it is ribbing, it has so much stretch to it. I think once I block it, everything will be good. But I think I actually based the size that I did on the armhole measurement rather than the bust measurement, because I knew it would have some stretch to it, and that's fine. And typically I don't like sweaters with tons of ease. I feel like they kind of swallow me. So even with a different sweater, unless it is something that I want to be more oversized, which is rare, I don't usually do my full bust measurement. I'm much more likely to look at the upper arm circumference because I do have bigger upper arms. So sometimes that gets me in trouble if the pattern has skinnier arms. And sometimes I do sort of a combination of the two, where I will use a bust measurement I'm comfortable with, but then I will also take into account maybe adding more stitches under the arms to make the actual upper arm circumference a little bit bigger. But I'm pretty sure in this case, what I did was I selected it based on the upper arm circumference. And when we last spoke, I was here. I had done the yoke, I had split for sleeves, and I'd actually gone back in and completed the neckband as well. And now I am proud to say in the last couple of weeks, I have finished the body and woven in my ends. And just last night I started on the first sleeve. So this one is moving along swimmingly. I'm very, very happy with this one. I am going to, I think, continue with having 2 WIPs per week. And I would say don't expect quite as much progress because next time I speak to you, it will have only been a week. But I really liked being able to work on this, which is a little bit more brainy. It is a 4-row repeat. And now that I'm into the sleeves, I also have to take into account the decrease rounds. So there's going to be a lot of counting. So this is going to require a little bit more brain power. But I also want to select a second WIP from the WIP tree so that I will have something else that I can work on that will challenge me in a different way, or just be something that is pretty simple, straightforward, just knit, 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 depending on what project we select from our magic die this week. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that, but I'm very, very happy with this. I am using Camper from Kelborn Woolens for this one. The color is Meadow, and it's just 100% wool, not superwash. It's a lovely, lovely green color. I think I'm going to be super happy with this. I think I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this. Normally, I don't actually really like sweaters that have a tighter neck, but for whatever reason, every time I've tried this on, it seems to sit in a good place. T-shirts for me are mostly fine because the neckband, even though it's round, it is a little bit on the loose side. I just don't like things that are tight against my neck. Every once in a while, I will be in a mood where I could do maybe a turtleneck or a mock turtleneck, but it's actually very rare for me. I really prefer V-necks. And most of the sweaters that I try to do either have a scoop neck, a V-neck, or just a very wide neck that's not going to be hitting me right in the throat, because that's not really something I enjoy. But when I've tried this one on, I've actually been perfectly happy with it. So I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this one, which is always a good sign. Always a good sign, as long as it cools off a bit. So what I am going to do is move this marker from where it is on the body right now, because I've shown you that. I did that. That's all completed. And we're going to stick it on the arm where I am currently with the arm. And because this is fingering weight, I'm going to put it around 2 stitches just to make sure that it doesn't pull too much. Get that on there, a little yoga cat stitch marker. All right, so there we go. That's where we are right now. My goal for this week is to get this arm finished. Maybe actually even start on the second arm, but if I can get this arm finished this week, I will be very happy with that. So that goes back into its number 2 project bag, and that will be one of my projects for this week. Oh, I need to stick the pattern back in there too. Gonna need that, because that tells me a lot of very important things that I'm going to need. All right, so there we go. This is one of my 2 projects for this coming week. I considered just starting over every week and rolling and seeing what comes up, but I was thinking about it, and I'm kind of in the groove with that sweater. I've got the repeat down, and I think I'm just gonna see it all the way through. I may not do that with all the projects on the WIP tower. We'll have to wait and see, but at least for that one, I want to keep going, because I think I'm in the groove, and I think I'll be very, very happy to see that one completed as well. All right, I do want to show off this mug. Let me grab the business card because I love this mug. Hold on one second. Okay, I have to brag on this guy. This is from Creative with Clay, handcrafted pottery by, I hope I pronounced this correctly, I probably won't, Charan Sashar. Here is the business card. And he makes all sorts of things with this sort of knitted design. I absolutely love it. I got this mug from there, and then I also got a little sort of trinket tray in this beautiful purple with the knit stitch design. I absolutely love it. I am a sucker for pottery. If I had my way, my entire kitchen, like all of my dishes, would just be mismatched handmade pottery from all over the place. I love it. I love pottery. Anyway, I had to show this off. And it even has little buttons. Look at the little buttons. Oh my gosh, I love it. So I will put a link to his store in the description box. I bought this mug years ago, and I just absolutely love it. I love it. So, all right. So let's get into the trip that I recently took. So one of the places that we went, well, actually, let me show you a little video montage of the places we went, and then I will talk you through what I picked up at each place. Okay, so our first stop was the Naughty Goat. Now, before I get into this, I will just say I tried filming at my in-laws' house and it was so hot. It was so hot. It was so hot. It was so hot. And talking about yarn and fuzzy things, it just was not working for me. So I'm going to talk you through everything now. So our first stop, which is actually on the way to St. Louis for us, is the Naughty Goat. And they are in Columbia, Missouri. Literally, I didn't know it existed. And it is right off of I-70 in Columbia. If you're going on I-70 through the state of Missouri and you go through Columbia, you cannot miss it. It's like right on a frontage road. And that's actually how I knew it was there, because on one of our previous trips to St. Louis, we drove past it and I went, hey, wait, there's a yarn store. And then on the way home, we had to stop because there was a yarn store. We have to stop. So this is actually my second trip to the Naughty Goat. Last year I went when we went down for the Christmas holiday, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy with all of the wonderful things that I found. So let me dump this out onto my desk and I will talk you through why I am so excited about these items. All right, so there's a couple of things that aren't super special. I got some cables, that kind of thing. I did find they had, oh, there's stuff falling all over. Okay, so this is the Naughty Goat. Oh my gosh, so cute. They actually had in their clearance section some store branded mugs. I am a sucker for a mug. I have a little yarn store and yarny mug collection that lives up here with a kettle in my loft so that I can make myself tea and coffee while I'm in my loft. So this will definitely go into my collection up here. Put that right there. All right. They also had, I kind of went a little bit crazy at the Naughty Goat, but they also had these thermal mugs, which I just thought, oh my gosh, so cute. Little camp cup, insulated cup, and little bamboo handle. And I just thought, yes. I don't know how well this would work in the car because of the cup holders. I don't know how the handle would do. It may not work well for that, but especially in the wintertime when my coffee gets cold very quickly, this may be my new use it every day kind of mug when I am working. I work from home and it gets super cold in my office in the winter. And so, yeah, I think this may be my winter at my desk mug. And of course, when I'm at my desk, I would probably be holding it with my left hand. So I will see you at the Naughty Goat. But if I'm on a Zoom call, the rest of the world will just see a blue cup. Not that I have to hide that the mug is from the Naughty Goat, but anyway. Another mug. I love a mug. I love store branded stuff or things that you can only get at whatever store that is, whether it's a store brand yarn. There's several yarn stores I've been to where that store actually has their own sort of dyeing company and they make their own yarn. There's also little indie dyers that maybe that's the only storefront that they actually sell in, but they are available in their own store online. I love finding stuff like that. That's actually one of the things that I found. I don't know if this is completely limited to just the Naughty Goat. There is a cowl pattern that I have wanted to do forever. Let me pull it up so I can tell you the name of it and not lie. And of course I have to sign into Ravelry. I believe I know what it's called, but I don't want to lie to you. All right, it is called Cowlstruck by Laura Nelkin. And I will try my best. Keep in mind, I don't really know what I'm doing. I will try my best to insert a picture of this cowl, but I've wanted to make it forever. And what it needs is a full skein of DK and then 5 mini DK skeins. And they had this beautiful display that you saw in the video of all of these minis laid out, sort of inspired by all of the, oh my goodness, what are they called? All of the collectible yarn cards. Oh my goodness, what are they called? I have a ton of them. You know what I'm talking about. All the little color work cards that you can get. I'll put the name of it down below because it'll come to me. But anyway, so they had all these beautiful colors. These are the ones that I chose, and I'm going to put these with this darker green. These are from Yarnaceous Fibers, small batch, hand dyed, and yeah, so cute. So this is called Primeval Grove. So that'll be my main color. And then to go with it, I am going to put Pumpkin Spice, Frosted Pine, Winter Thicket, Solstice Glow, and Snow. And I just think they're going to look so nice together. I think those are just going to look amazing. So I'm super, super excited for that. I realize I have a WIP tree. Okay, I do realize that. But for a future, not so distant in the future project, I think this is going to become a new project that I will want to cast on before the end of this year, because I've wanted to do this one forever. All right, so that's number one. And then number two, I actually found some beautiful yarns in their clearance section. These are all Earth Yarns, Harvest DK, 100% superwash. But they had these beautiful fall autumnal colors. And so I got one of each of these colors. So we have Rubia, we have Acorn, we have Walnut, and Cinnamon, and what are you? Fig. And I just think these will look absolutely stunning together in a project. Again, there is another shawl pattern that I have wanted to do for quite some time. I don't think I have it in my queue. I'm just looking for it quickly. Let me look it up really quick. Hold on. Please hold. Your call is very important to us. We will be with you in just a moment. Okay, it is a shawl pattern. And it is for DK weight. Don't have many of those, so I should find it relatively quickly. It is called the Moraine Shawl by Abby Knits. And I just think these colors will be absolutely beautiful. Again, I will try to insert a picture here or here or here. I don't know how this works. But I think these colors will be beautiful for a nice autumnal wrap. So yeah, I think that's what these are going to become. Maybe not this year. I don't know. We'll see how fast I get through some of the WIPs on my WIP tree to see. I do have one project that I definitely want to cast on relatively soon because I want it to be done for Halloween. And it is going to use this wonderful lime green yarn that I found also at the Woolly Goat. This is Alpacas Dovas. The color is key lime, and I wanted a super electric bright green for a specific sweater that I have been dying to do, and I just never have gotten around to it. And this year, this is the year I'm going to have this done. So let me pull it up so I can not lie to you again. So this is called Arachne by Andy Satterland. And I have had this in my favorites for years, and I've wanted to do it. And I'm going to do it this year. And this is the green I'm going to use. Again, I will try to insert a picture. Now this is 100% alpaca. 100%? Is it? No, it's 85% Surrey alpaca and 15% merino. I actually have made a complete sweater out of this. I think we talked about it in a previous episode, and it stretched so much. It stretched absolutely out of control. I love it. It's very comfortable. It's very drapey and cuddly and cozy, but it stretched a lot. Now that was a garter stitch sweater out of using just this, which is mostly alpaca, and it stretched so much. It was supposed to be sort of a waist or hip length sweater, and it's about mid-thigh for me. So lesson learned about that, but I think just using this for the color work will be just fine. On that note, I do have some other things that I acquired in other places that I'm going to put with this, and I haven't decided for sure yet what I'm going to do there. So couple other things that I just wanted to share with you. They did have some Naughty Goat handmade stitch markers. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but they are little goats. Super cute. Let me see. Let me take these out of here, and then we can, how is this? Oh, does it go this way? The package is smarter than I am, at least today. I think maybe I need more coffee. So let me just pull these over to one side so you can just see one of them. So there is the little goat. I just think they're super cute. And then they also had some other stitch markers. I have never actually seen stitch markers before that say beginning of round. Now, I'm sure they exist. I'm sure I've just missed them. But I thought, that's useful. I could get some use out of those. So I picked up some of those, and then I also got some of these, which are make one left, make one right, which will be very useful because I'm constantly forgetting which one I'm supposed to do. So yeah, just some little handmade stitch markers. And yeah, so there were some other things, but those are the exciting things from the Naughty Goat. So let me clear this away, and then we will get into another one of the shops that I visited. So the next shop we're going to talk about is YarnCom. This is a little store that I discovered several years ago when they were actually based out of the Chesterfield Mall in Chesterfield, just outside of St. Louis. That mall has now been completely demolished, and they are in a completely different location in Creve Court. They have a beautiful store. They have just such a variety of yarns, and they have a loom set up in the store that you can take a look at, and it's beautiful. They have spinning fiber, lots of little fun tchotchke stuff, and you know I love a tchotchke thing. And so this is the bag from YarnCom. So let's dump this one out and see what I picked up there. Okay. So let's start with this one. I always have every year a project book. This is this year's, oh, This is this year's project book. I use these covers every year, and then I have a different cover that I actually order the planner with. This is the one for 2026, and this is a picture of a sweater that I completed last year that I just love. And I put in my projects. Let me see if I can find a good one. I have not kept up with this year at all. At all. This is, it's abysmal. I really need to catch up with this. But for example, let me find a good one. Do I have a good one? Not really. I've done a really bad job of this year. But as an example, here is a pattern page. I haven't totally finished it yet, but this is the pattern page that I have for the portage bag that I've worked on. I usually put a little bit of the yarn, just using some double stick tape and sticking the yarn in. I have the yarn label, and then I have a little picture in progress. Once it gets done, I'll have a picture of it completed, and I have little information. I did actually finish this, but I haven't lined it or put a handle on it or anything, so it doesn't, I finished the knitting, but the project itself isn't really finished. But I've done a really bad job of this year. And so because it is a calendar, there's a lot of wasted space. I haven't decided for sure if I'm going to keep this up for next year or if I am going to completely switch over to this. This is a project book from Twice Sheared Sheep, and it has these project notes in here. Let me open it up to one so you can kind of see. Okay, so it has the project information. You can put a picture. Every one of the pages is also an envelope, which is pretty cool. You can punch holes here to put little samples of the yarn and put in the information about the yarn. And I think it's pretty cool. I don't remember how many projects there is room for in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. And then in the back, there are some dot pages, and we have some grid pages, and then there are some little insert pages, and then there's pocket in the back and little loops and things. So I don't know. There's also a pen loop, which is nice. I don't know if I'm going to switch to this next year or how I'm going to incorporate this. I may still keep up with the planner, but I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. So I got this as an option because I think it's super cool. And I may use this just for larger projects that require a bit more and that are going to take me a lot longer. Says the girl who just finished a shawl that she started 10 plus years ago. I realize the irony of that, but I might switch and use this exclusively. I don't know. It also has an elastic that you can put around the whole thing, like so. Because if it's me, I'm probably going to put a lot in here and it's going to become very, very fat. Someday maybe we'll go through one of my old planner books and I can show you. But anyway, so I picked that up at YarnCom. I also found some absolutely beautiful silky suri. So this is from Honey Girl Farms, which is a smaller indie dyer. I don't know if they are only available on their website and at YarnCom, or if there are other, I think there are some other stores that stock it as well in that area, but I don't know that it's, available nationwide. This is 75% brushed baby suri and 25% mulberry silk, 50 grams, 328 yards. This is the color pewter. And I got several of these. I am not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them yet. I have some ideas. I may hold them with something, or I may use them on their own. They're so soft. They're so soft. I'm really leaning more towards suri rather than mohair. I'm getting pickier about my mohair because some of it can be pretty scratchy. I found, for me, the ones with the higher silk content tend to be a little bit softer, whereas if it's more mohair, for whatever reason, I think of it as being a little bit more scratchy. But maybe that's just me. But these I absolutely love. I picked up 5 of these, so I have plenty to do whatever I want with these. All right, so that's those. And then I also picked up, this is from a trunk show that they were doing. This is from, let's see, Created for You by Laura. This is actually from, I believe, the Yarn Adventure truck had been there and had left some things as sort of a continuing trunk show. This is Crystal DK. It is DK weight, 50% superwash merino and 50% tencel from eucalyptus. And the color is gunmetal. I just think it's absolutely stunning. It has a nice little bit of shine to it. And I just think it's really, really pretty. Now, when I bought this, I was thinking that I might put it with this for my Arachne sweater, because this is sort of fuzzy and light, and this is a little bit shinier and drapier, and I thought the contrast of textures might be interesting, but I don't know if I'm happy with the contrast. I'm not sure how I think that's going to turn out, because the gunmetal is beautiful, but I want to make sure that there's a very bold contrast between the two colors to really make the color work pop. So I'm not sure about that. I have enough of this that I can easily do another project with it. Not a problem, no sweat. So I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I think I'm not gonna do that. But when I bought it, I was thinking I might do this with it. All right, what else did I pick up there? I got a couple of really cute needle stoppers because I'm a sucker, and these are little yarn ball spiders. How cute are they? And then I did get some stitch markers. These I thought were really interesting. These are also from Twice Shared Sheep, who I do like quite a bit. I don't like everything that they make, but I do like the vast majority of the stuff that I've gotten from Twice Shared Sheep. And these are actually removable stitch markers that look like little cats. And I just thought they were really cute. Let me see if I can just pop one off of there. I'm getting more into these little removable stitch markers. Little kitty cat. I don't know if you can see the ears, but it's a little kitty cat. I'm getting more into this type of removable stitch marker. I just think they're a little bit easier than the light bulb pins or the lobster clasps. There's a place for all of them, I think. And I don't have very many of this style. So yeah, picked up a little package of those, and I just think they're really, really cute. So I'm a sucker for a stitch marker. As also noted by these, which are the little 3rd anniversary celebratory set of stitch markers that have, there's a little white cupcake, and then there's some little yarn balls on little light bulb pins that were specifically for the 3rd anniversary of YarnCom, the store. So yeah, picked those up. I have so many stitch markers, you guys, and I can't stop myself from buying more cute stitch markers. I just can't. Especially the removable ones, because you can do all sorts of things with those. I can't stop myself. I also got some little red eyes. I have a very specific project in mind that I needed little red eyeballs for. I don't know how well you can see them, but they're little red eyes. I have a little secret project that I'm working on. I haven't actually started it yet, but I'm working on it in here. And that's okay. I've started it in my mind. I'm planning out exactly how I'm going to do it, but I can't wait to show it to you when it's finally done, because I think it's really going to be cute and funny. All right, so that is the collection of things from YarnCom. Super excited about it. I know it kind of seems kind of boring, like a bunch of this gray yarn and a bunch of this gray yarn, but I think I will get use out of them. I don't have a lot of sweater quantity DK especially in neutral colors. And because I like to do color work, you sort of, it lends itself to having a neutral base and then some kind of bright, fun, contrasty colors, depending on the pattern. But I think I will definitely find a good use for these. So let's get into our third store from the St. Louis area, and that is Seven Sisters Yarn and Fiber. So let me clear this away. There is a cat trying to be in the bag. Come on, you don't belong in the bag. You don't belong in the bag. He's like, Mommy, there's yarn in the bag, and the yarn is soft. Yes, the yarn is soft. I know, it's soft and cozy. And that's where you want to be. This is Artie. Yes, you're a sweet boy, but I don't want you in the bag right now. Yeah, why don't you go get in the chair? All right, let's clear this away now. Okay, so the third and final yarn store from my trip to St. Louis was Seven Sisters Yarn and Fiber, and they have such beautiful stuff. I love their store. It's so welcoming. It's so well organized. I just adore it. And this is Homestead Fibers sock. And I don't know if this is exclusive to them. I think it is exclusive to the St. Louis area, I think. But this is their sock yarn. So it's not super special in terms of fiber content. It is a superwash merino and nylon 80/20, which is a good workhouse yarn. And this particular color is called Lane, but I just thought it was so lovely. This nice, soft, sort of tonal purple. So I did pick up a sweater quantity of this. I haven't decided for sure yet which sweater pattern I'm going to do with this. I have some ideas in my favorites in my queue, but I just couldn't pass up this color. I love this color so much. I think it's so pretty. Not with the red lip, but it's so pretty. And with 5 skeins of it, I mean, it's 400 yards a piece, so I've got 2,000 yards. I can easily do a nice sweater. I'm thinking maybe something with some light cabling or some light detailing in the texture. I don't want to go too crazy because it is a tonal, so you're going to lose a little bit of the texture, but I don't want to do just a straight stockinette. So I might actually do some swatching. Yes, I know. I don't typically swatch. I'm a wild child like that. I'm a rebel. And, but for this, I might actually need to, because depending on the stitch pattern, I could either lose the tonality of the yarn, or more likely, I'm going to lose the precision of any stitch pattern that I might choose. So I might actually have to swatch with this. But that was from Seven Sisters. And the final item that I picked up while I was in St. Louis was not from a yarn store. It was actually from the Hallmark store. Because they are getting their Halloween stuff, and I am a huge Halloween fan. In case you hadn't figured that out, I love all things spooky and silly spooky and creepy spooky and witchy magical spooky, and I love all of it. And one of my favorite movies is Beetlejuice, and they had this big sandworm bowl, and it's supposed to be a candied bowl. This is going to be a yarn bowl. I realize it doesn't have anywhere to clip the yarn, or, you know, a hole like a traditional yarn bowl, but I don't really like that too much anyway. I typically just use it as a bowl. So this is going to be a super big yarn bowl for maybe when I'm working with fatter yarns, or I have multiple colors. I don't know exactly yet, but I had to pick up a sandworm bowl. It's so cute. I just love it. So that was the last thing. And for most people, this would not be a yarn object. For me, this is absolutely a yarn bowl. So I had to pick that up. All right. So since I have been home, I've been thinking more about my alpaca duvas. and how I'm not sure that I'm happy with this combination, even though that was the intention. I haven't taken a black and white picture of these two together, but I think there's not going to be as much contrast as I want. So I went to my local yarn store, Imagine It, in Omaha, and picked up some of this. This is Kelborn Woolen Scout, 100% wool, 274 yards to 100 grams, so good solid weight, and it is black. It is black, 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 black. And I think those two are very striking. So I think I'm probably going to end up doing my Arachne out of these two yarns. It's going to look just like the picture on the pattern, which frequently I don't know that I make a conscious effort not to copy the pattern colors, but the pattern colors are so good in this case. And normally this is not a color that I could wear, but it's not this color. It's this color in and amongst black. So I think those are going to look really super cute together. So that's my plan. I haven't 100% decided, but I'm about 99% sure that that's going to be how I pursue my Arachne sweater. So that will probably be cast on in the next few weeks, but I do want to make sure that I pick another WIP from the WIP tree for this week. I will continue working on my Mabel sweater, but let's pick a new WIP from the WIP tree. So I have my little tray, I have my little 20-sided die. Let's see what number WIP we're gonna be working on this week. 17, number 17, let me grab it. It's an old one. It is an old one. I'm not even sure what's in this bag. Let me open the right page on my notebook so I can see what we are working with. Oh, this is a good one. I'm happy that this one came up. I didn't realize that was what was in this bag. Okay, so this was going to be last year's Christmas sweater, and I didn't get it finished. Obviously, because it was on the WIP tree. This is the Whitmore by Amy Loudon. And actually, this was going to be my Christmas sweater 2 years ago. Looks like I started this November 13th of 2024. And I am using 2 yarns held together. I have plenty more of the yarns. So let me pull these out and I can show you. So I am using Knit Picks Palette Fingering Weight. And this is in the color Mist. So very, very, very pale. And I am holding that with Emma's Yarn Marvelous Mohair in the color Iguana, which has just ever so slight blue and green flecks. Little tiny bits of blue and green. Let me show you the one that I have balled up. Put this back in here. And you can sort of just barely see them. I hope they come across on camera. But there's little tiny blue and purple and teal flecks in here. And paired together, those 2 yarns look like this. So here's where we're at with my Whitmore. I think it is absolutely lovely. Now for this pattern, because there's all of this intricate sort of lace work on the yoke, before I split for sleeves, I actually blocked the yoke. I put it on a hugely long circular. I mean, I was linking, one circular cable, one cable to another cable to another cable, and just made a huge circle and blocked this out. I think I have a picture of it. I'll try to insert it if I have it. But I blocked this out as a circle before I split for sleeves. So you can kind of tell, at least I can kind of tell here, where the blocking was down to about here. and then it hasn't been blocked at the bottom. So I think I might be able to get away with just a steam block for the rest of the body. I don't think I'll have to wet block it, but I did wet block and stretch the hoo-ha on the top to really open up that lace, because I figured it would be much easier to block it and get that lace pattern really opened up and lovely before I split for sleeves, when I could still block it out as a big circle. So that's what I did, and I really like that technique. I've used it a couple of times on a couple of different things, and I think for anything that has a specific yoke pattern, whether it's color work, I mean, I'll probably do this on the Arachne when I do it, because it's the yoke that has that color work, and in order to get that really laid out well and sort of perfectly stretched and aligned, I found that it's much easier to do that when it's still a big flat circle. So that's what I did here. I am on the body, as you can see, and I don't really know how much more body I need to work on. Let me see if I can find where I am in the pattern. Okay, so body, I am making a size 1X, which should come out to a 48-inch bust circumference. No, finished sweater bust circumference, 53.5. So it should be a little loose, a little not baggy, but a little bit not tight. It shouldn't have any negative ease. It'll have some positive ease. And let me see, what does that make the upper arm circumference, since that's what I'm the most concerned about. This actually doesn't have an upper arm circumference listed. So that is a little bit frustrating. Now this pattern could have a bishop sleeve or a tapered sleeve. So on the front cover, if you see how the sleeve is right there, that is a bishop sleeve. So basically it kind of comes down, it almost goes out a little bit, and then it pulls in for the cuff, which is what gives you that sort of drape on the sleeve. Or you can do it with a more traditional, like straighter sleeve. And I haven't decided for sure which one I prefer, but I'm not on sleeves yet. I'm still on the body. And it looks like I'm supposed to go until I have 11 inches from the underarms. That's where I am at right now. And I would say I probably have maybe 6 inches completed. So let me get a stitch marker. You know what? I'm going to use one of my new goat stitch markers on this. I also, can I just say, I love that people are using these earring pieces now instead of the lobster claw. I just find them a lot easier. Like they just, I don't know, they just work really well for me. Okay, so I'm going to mark that. The next stitch that I shall knit has now been marked, and this is just straight stockinette. So this is actually perfect to work on. I think my goal on this one, so my goal on the Mabel sweater is to get one sleeve finished. I think my goal on this, because it's just straight stockinette, is probably going to be to try to get the body finished. How much hem? 2.5 inches of hem. Now that's assuming I like that 11-inch length. I tend to like my sweaters a little bit on the long side, so they hit me at the hip instead of at the waist. And that's just a preference based on my body type and the way I feel things look on me. Where is this actually supposed to hit? Let's see. I mean, on her, it's definitely, in the picture, it's definitely hitting more at the hip. So I will go until I have about 11 inches, and then I will try this on and we'll see where I am. But I am delighted that this came up. I would love for this to be this year's like Christmas Eve sweater. So cute. So cute. Yeah, and this has a nice wide neckline. I'm gonna have to figure out which, I think that's the back. I think that's the front because of the way the neckline is. Somewhere, I think I got some little like tags like that you would sew into like the back, like the tags on the back of a shirt or something that say this is the back. I think I have some of those somewhere. I'm pretty sure I picked some up. This is one of those sweaters that I definitely am gonna have to I'm gonna have to make sure I do something on this to mark which one is the back. Same thing with the Mabel sweater, actually. I have this stitch marker in the neck band right there. I have a removable stitch marker because that's the back. So I know that when I try it on, because the neck band, it looks so small. It looks so small. I can't get over that. But it actually fits quite nicely. I'm very happy with it. So anyway, so those are my two projects, two sweater projects for this week, a sleeve on one and a body on the other. I think that's excellent. I feel really good about that. I will be back next week and I will tell you where I am. But before we go, let me move this out of the way. Oh, and this is a project bag, actually from the same company as the project bag, the Ouija project bag that my striped scarf shawl was in. This is from Slip Stitch Studios, who sadly don't appear to still be around, but this was a Wicked bag that they had that my sister sent me for my birthday years ago, and it's wonderful. It has pockets inside. It's nice and big. It holds absolutely everything for a project. It's fantastic. So that is going back in this bag. It's getting kind of big, if I'm honest. It's getting a little big. This might actually need to go into more of a basket type situation. Oh, let me put some stitch stoppers on. Let me put some, we'll put the little yarn ball spider needle stoppers on here just in case, because you never know. You never know when your needle's gonna decide to just abandon you. All right, so those are our two projects, but we have one more thing we want to do, and that is find out what our week ahead has in store for us. So let's shuffle the cards and see what we get. What does the week ahead have in store for us? Let's see. It has this for us. What is that? Let's take a look. All right. The finished object. Oh boy. It has the finished object. That is so cool. That just makes me feel so incredibly good. I'm looking at the little thing to see what they say about it. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Yes, manifesting goals, dreams coming true, hope, clarity, fame, optimism, progress. That is a great, great card. That is a fantastic card, and I wish for you all of the success that this card holds. I'm going to put it up on my little shelf up here. Whoop. If I can not drop it. Pop it right up there. And I hope the week ahead brings you success, finished objects, dreams coming true, goals being completed. And until I talk to you again, I hope you have a wonderful week. Keep in mind, even if you don't get one stitch knitted this week, that's okay. Be kind to yourself. Do your best to be kind to others. And I will see you again next time. Bye.